These tales as old as time deserve the Disney treatment. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 stories that deserve a Disney animated movie. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at stories from a variety of cultures that we think would make for awesome Disney animated features. They can be folk tales, novels, fairy tales, or any type of legend that might fit the Disney brand. Number 10. The Buried Moon, also known as the Dead Moon. This is a fairy tale of uncertain origin that appeared in more English fairy tales by Joseph Jacobs. The story is a simple one with a unique concept. The main character is the moon herself. She wants to find out if it's true that on nights when the moon doesn't shine, all sorts of dark things come out. It's a spooky story that would totally work in a Nightmare Before Christmas kind of way.
Oh, somewhere deep inside of these bones, an emptiness began to grow.
The Buried Moon has never been adapted for a wider audience as a film or in any other medium. Telling a story where the ending can still genuinely surprise people would be a great asset for Disney. Number 9. The Red Shoes. Disney has already adapted several of Hans Christian Andersen's tales into animated feature films, most notably The Little Mermaid. But there's always room for more. The Red Shoes is a story about a little girl who learns about the dangers of vanity and materialism when her prized possession, her red shoes, turn against her. This well-known tale has already been adapted in many different ways, but we know that Disney could give it the treatment it deserves. Like many of Andersen's stories, this one has its dark moments, but Disney has mastered the art of family-friendly adaptations, even when the source material is a little sinister. Number 8. The Prince and the Pauper. The real die-hard Disney fans out there may know that this book by Mark Twain already got the Disney treatment back in 1990, when the House of Mouse produced a short film adaptation of The Prince and the Pauper. It was only 24 minutes long, however, and was a very light-hearted story starring none other than Mickey Mouse himself.
Oh, if I could take your place for just one day.
We think this story could be retold in a more developed and imaginative way, especially considering how many great loose adaptations there have been over the years using Twain's original concept.
There really is two of us. Don't you find this odd?
Number 7. Anne of Green Gables. Like many of the other entries on our list, this piece of literature has been adapted many times, and has even experienced a resurgence in popularity lately with the release of the 2017 CBC series Anne.
My word, do I know you?
Not yet, but I know you, and I'm sure we'll become better acquainted on the ride.
Lucy Maud Montgomery's much-loved series of novels, beginning with Anne of Green Gables, could make for a great standalone Disney film. It might be interesting if they set the story in modern day like Inside Out, rather than keeping the original setting of the late 19th century. We know Disney is ready for another red-headed princess.
My pleasure.
Number 6. The 12 Dancing Princesses.
Hi. Whoa, ladies, I'm a princess too.
Some of Disney's seminal films, including Snow White, Cinderella, and Sleeping Beauty, were based on stories by the Brothers Grimm. So what made them decide to skip over this one? In this story, 12 sisters are locked in their bedroom by their father each night, and each morning when he comes to wake them, it seems that they have inexplicably spent the whole night dancing.
Where were you dancing last night?
At a loss and desperate to understand, their father puts out a call for the men of the kingdom to uncover the truth. With a little reworking, it seems like a Disney-worthy premise, and it's easy to see the animation studio giving each princess their own unique personality. Number 5. A Midsummer Night's Dream. Not all Shakespeare plays would necessarily work as a Disney animated film, but this one surely would.
The course of true love never did run smooth.
A Midsummer Night's Dream is a love story and a comedy, and is beloved worldwide for its unique plot. The thing that makes this a perfect match for Disney is the fairies, who are controlling the fates of the characters as the action progresses.
Not Hermia, but Helena I love. Who will not change a raven for a dove?
We don't think a direct adaptation would be the best move here, because the play is already well known. But a retelling of some sort, keeping the same plot structure and themes, would undoubtedly be a hit. Number 4. Journey to the West. Most of our picks so far have been stories rooted in Western culture, But for this one, we're going to look at a Chinese novel from the 16th century.
要對付如此厲害擾惑人心嘅妖怪，你要有膽去揾一個比妖怪更厲害嘅王中之王。
Journey to the West was written during the Ming Dynasty and has come to be considered as one of the 4 great classical novels of Chinese literature. Because of the format of the book, it would be a clear contender for the Disney treatment. In the story, which contains 100 chapters, many different folktales are tied together by being told by the same narrator. This structure lends itself well to a film adaptation, because the producers can pick and choose which stories to tell.
三师兄，你咳嗽了，喝点水吧。
Number 3. Little Red Riding Hood.
You probably know the story, but there's more to every tale than meets the eye.
Everyone knows the story of Little Red Riding Hood, and maybe that's why Disney has chosen not to adapt it. Of course, there have been countless renditions of this classic European folktale over the years, but if Disney were to turn it into a full-length animated movie, their best bet would be looking at the story from another angle, or completely rethinking the setting or characters. It's honestly surprising that Disney has never tackled this story before, because apart from being well-worn territory, it seems like such a perfect match for the studio.
Mother said not to stray, still I suppose a small delay.
Number 2. The Pied Piper of Hamelin. The story of the Pied Piper is one that is simple and well-known. In a medieval village, a piper comes to town who promises the residents that he can rid the town of rats with his magic pipe, if the price is right.
As for what your brain bewilders, if I can rid your town of rats, will you give me 1,000 guilders?
When he doesn't get the fee he had hoped for, though, he decides to work his magic to lure the town's children away. Now this part is already familiar enough, but what happened to all the kids when they left town? Disney could do a great job exploring the next chapter of this story, a land where it's all kids with no grown-ups to get in the way. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Может, это наша сестра? Это, наверное, она. Элиза. Нет, это не Элиза.
Number 1. Rumpelstiltskin. The character of Rumpelstiltskin may already appear in the Shrek franchise, but that doesn't mean his days of starring in animated movies are through.
So we all put an end to our daughter's curse?
There's a reason this story, at least according to some scholars, has endured for over 4,000 years. We all know how it goes. Rumpelstiltskin promises a young girl that he will help her spin straw into gold, as long as she promises him her firstborn child. Seems simple enough. Like many of the other entries on our list, a direct adaptation wouldn't do for this story, and we're sure Disney could come up with something unique to set it apart from all other adaptations.
And so it shall be.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.